Hello guys, welcome to the Health Explorer channel. Let's talk about something that sits at the very heart of beauty, culture, and identity for millions of women around the globe. It's a ritual performed in bustling salons and quiet home bathrooms alike. It's the process of transforming tight coils and curls into sleek, straight tresses. I'm talking about chemical hair relaxers. For generations, they have been seen as a key to manageability, a ticket to a certain standard of beauty, and a rite of passage. But what if this pursuit of perfection comes at a devastatingly high price? What if the secret ingredient in that creamy, potent formula isn't just a promise of straight hair, but a hidden ticket to a life-altering health crisis? It's a question we can no longer afford to ignore. We're standing at a critical juncture today, where whispers of concern have erupted into a roar of litigation and scientific alarm. The very products that promise confidence are now accused of betrayal. We are being forced to ask a terrifying question. Could the path to silky hair also be a path to the hospital? Is there a direct line from the tingling sensation on the scalp to a cancer diagnosis years later? This is not about scaring people. It's about empowering them with knowledge. It's about pulling back the curtain on a multi-billion-dollar industry and examining the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be for us to confront. The controversy centers on a frightening link between long-term use of these chemical straighteners and a heightened risk of serious diseases, especially hormone-sensitive cancers. We're talking about uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, and breast cancer. These aren't just abstract risks found in dusty scientific journals. These are real-world consequences affecting real women, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, and our friends. They are women who trusted the labels, who believed the marketing, and who simply wanted to feel beautiful. Now, thousands are stepping forward, their voices united in a chorus of pain, demanding answers and accountability for the health they believe was stolen from them. This isn't a simple story of a bad product. No! It is a complex saga woven with threads of cultural pressure, corporate responsibility, and regulatory oversight, or the lack thereof. It's a drama unfolding in real time, in courtrooms across the country and in the laboratories of our most trusted scientific institutions. The stakes could not be higher. We are talking about life and death, about justice for those who have suffered, and about protecting future generations from a danger that has been hiding in plain sight for far too long. So, let's get into it, because what you're about to hear could change everything you thought you knew about the price of beauty. To truly understand this crisis, we have to look beyond the chemistry and into the culture. For Black women in particular, hair is never just hair. It is a crown, a statement, a political declaration, and a deep-seated part of our identity. The decision to wear it straight is layered with a complex history. For decades, societal pressures, both inside and outside the Black community, have equated straight hair with professionalism, acceptability, and a more polished appearance. This standard, often rooted in Eurocentric ideals of beauty, created a powerful incentive to alter the natural texture of our hair, making relaxers feel less like a choice and more like a necessity to fit in and succeed. This cultural pressure starts young. I remember the smell of relaxer cream filling the kitchen or bathroom on a Saturday morning, a scent that many of us associate with growing up. It was a rite of passage, a sign that you were becoming a young woman. The creamy crack, as it's sometimes called with a knowing laugh, became a staple in the lives of up to 95% of Black women at some point. It was the key to avoiding playground taunts about nappy hair and the secret to getting a job in a corporate world where natural hair was often deemed unprofessional. The bi-weekly salon visit wasn't just about maintenance, it was a cherished ritual, a cornerstone of self-care and community. The global beauty industry, of course, capitalized on this. They marketed these products not just as straighteners, but as tickets to glamour, confidence, and social mobility. Brands like L'Oreal's Dark and Lovely and ORS Olive Oil became household names, their boxes featuring smiling Black women with impossibly sleek, flowing hair. The message was clear and powerful. This product will make your life better, easier, and more beautiful. This was simply about selling a dream, and millions of us bought into it, believing it was a safe and effective tool for achieving that dream. But that dream is now being re-examined through a much harsher lens. The very cultural significance that made relaxers so popular is what makes the current health revelations so profoundly painful. It feels like a betrayal on a massive scale. The idea that a product so deeply embedded in our cultural experience could be silently poisoning us is a devastating blow. It forces a difficult conversation about the standards we've been chasing and the industries that have profited from them, all while potentially compromising the health of the very women they claimed to empower. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter, the science, and not just speculation or fear-mongering. This is about data from some of our nation's top research institutions. The alarm bells started ringing loudly with a landmark 2022 study from the National Institutes of Health, NIH. Researchers followed nearly 34,000 women for over a decade, and what they found was shocking. Women who used chemical hair relaxers more than 4 times a year had more than double the risk of developing uterine cancer by age 70 compared to those who didn't. The risk jumped from 1.64% to a staggering 4.05%. For a community already facing disparities in healthcare, this statistic is nothing short of a public health emergency. The danger lies in a witch's brew of chemicals known as endocrine-disrupting chemicals, or EDCs. Think of these as tiny imposters that sneak into your body and wreak havoc on your hormonal system. They mimic or block your natural hormones, like estrogen, which can then fuel the growth of certain cancers. Formaldehyde, a known carcinogen, phthalates, parabens, and bisphenol A or BPA. These chemicals are absorbed through the scalp, especially when there are burns or micro-lesions, which, as anyone who has had a relaxer knows, are practically part of the experience. That good burn we used to talk about? It might have been an open door for these toxins. Making matters worse is a gaping regulatory loophole you could drive a truck through. Many of these dangerous chemicals are not even listed on the ingredient label. They are often hidden under the umbrella term fragrance or perfume, a trade secret protection that allows companies to conceal dozens, if not hundreds, of chemicals from the public. A 2018 study found that a shocking 84% of hair products marketed to Black women contained these undisclosed EDCs. So for years, women have been meticulously applying a toxic cocktail directly to their scalps with absolutely no idea of the potential dangers lurking within the jar. The scientific evidence doesn't stop with uterine cancer. Other studies have drawn terrifying lines to other hormone-sensitive diseases. A 2021 NIH study linked frequent relaxer use to a 50% increased risk of ovarian cancer. Another showed a 30% increased risk for breast cancer. The data is clear and compelling. The more you use these products and the longer you use them, the higher your risk. The science is no longer whispering, it is screaming a warning that we simply cannot afford to tune out. Statistics are powerful, but the true impact of this crisis is found in the personal stories of the women living through it. Take Jenny Mitchell, one of the first plaintiffs to file a lawsuit. She started getting relaxers when she was in 3rd grade. For decades, it was just a normal part of her life. Then, at just 28 years old, she was diagnosed with uterine cancer and had to undergo a full hysterectomy, destroying her dream of ever having children. Her story is not an isolated incident. It is a heartbreaking echo of thousands of others. These are women who followed the rules, trusted the brands, and are now facing the ultimate betrayal. Their own bodies turned against them by a product they believed was safe. The pain extends beyond the consumers to the professionals who have built their careers around these products. For every woman who sat in the chair, there was a stylist who stood behind it, mixing the chemicals, applying the formulas, and inhaling the fumes for hours on end, day after day. Cosmetologists are on the front line of this exposure, often with little to no protective equipment beyond a pair of plastic gloves. They too are reporting higher rates of respiratory issues, reproductive problems, and cancer diagnoses. They are the unsung victims in this tragedy, having dedicated their lives to making others feel beautiful, only to have their own health compromised in the process. The stories share a common tragic thread: shock and disbelief. A woman in her early 40s, a faithful user of the same relaxer brand since she was a teenager, is diagnosed with aggressive ovarian cancer. A mother of 2 who just wanted hair that was easier to manage while juggling work and family is forced to undergo a hysterectomy due to uterine fibroids so severe they caused constant pain and bleeding. They all ask the same question: how could this happen? They look back at a lifetime of choices, and the one that stands out is the seemingly innocent jar of hair cream they smoothed onto their scalps every 6 to 8 weeks. It's a heavy burden to carry, this feeling of being poisoned by a choice you were culturally conditioned to make. Some women feel a sense of guilt, as if they should have known better. But how could they? The marketing was persuasive, the products were ubiquitous, and the dangers were hidden. The blame does not lie with the women who sat in the chair. It lies with a system that allowed these toxic products to be sold for decades without adequate warning or regulation. Their stories are not just personal tragedies, they are powerful testimonies in a growing movement for justice. When we talk about this issue, we must be clear. While hair relaxers are used by women of various backgrounds, the health burden falls overwhelmingly on the shoulders of Black women. Could this be just another case of coincidence? Or is it probably the direct result of targeted marketing and deep-seated cultural pressures? As we've discussed, up to 95% of Black women have used these products. In the pivotal 2022 NIH study, Black women made up nearly 60% of the participants who reported frequent use. This isn't just a health issue, it is a profound issue of racial justice, where a specific demographic has been disproportionately exposed to harmful chemicals for generations. The health statistics are grim and paint a stark picture of this disparity. Black women are already diagnosed with uterine cancer at nearly twice the rate of white women, and they are almost twice as likely to die from it. Now, we have powerful evidence suggesting that a product marketed almost exclusively to them is a major contributing factor to this very cancer. It is a cruel irony. A product sold as a key to social acceptance may be directly fueling one of the deadliest health inequities faced by the Black community. It's a systemic failure on a breathtaking scale. Let's not forget the financial side of this. For many, relaxers were not a one-time purchase, but a consistent, lifelong expense. Women have poured thousands of dollars over their lifetimes into these products and salon services, effectively paying for their own exposure to dangerous chemicals. This financial investment was made in good faith, trusting that the products on the shelves were safe for use. The revelation that this trust may have been misplaced adds a layer of economic injustice to the physical and emotional trauma. The very companies that profited from this loyalty are now the ones being accused of causing irreparable harm. This crisis also forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about environmental racism. This is a classic example of how certain communities are forced to bear a greater environmental health burden. The environment isn't just the air we breathe or the water we drink. It's also the products we are encouraged to put on and in our bodies. By marketing toxic hair products primarily to Black women, the cosmetic industry created a situation where one race was systematically overexposed to EDCs. It's a fight for health, but it's also a fight for equality and the right to live without being targeted by harmful products. As the scientific evidence mounted, the fight for justice moved from the laboratory to the courtroom. As of today, we are witnessing one of the largest mass tort litigations in recent history. Over 12,000 product liability lawsuits, primarily filed by Black women, have been consolidated into a massive federal multi-district litigation, or MDL, in Illinois. This is an army of women demanding their day in court against cosmetic giants like L'Oreal, the maker of Dark and Lovely, and Revlon. They allege that these companies knew, or should have known, that their products were dangerous and failed to warn consumers. The legal process is a marathon, not a sprint, and we are right in the middle of it. The court, overseen by Judge Mary Rowland, is taking a methodical approach. A crucial date is on the horizon. January 8, 2026, has been scheduled as Science Day. It is not a dramatic trial scene from a movie. It is a non-adversarial session where scientists from both sides will educate the judge on the complex medical evidence. It's a foundational step that will set the stage for everything that follows. The court is essentially taking a crash course in endocrinology and oncology to understand the core of the plaintiff's claims. In May of this year, 2025, a significant step was taken to move the cases forward. 32 individual cases were selected for an initial discovery pool. These are known as bellwether trials. Think of them as test cases. The outcomes of these first few trials, which aren't expected to begin until 2027, will be incredibly influential. They will signal to both sides the potential strengths and weaknesses of their arguments and will heavily shape any future settlement negotiations. As of right now, no settlements have been reached, but legal experts project that potential payouts for cancer cases could range from $150,000 to over $750,000, depending on the severity of the illness and its impact. Meanwhile, the corporate defendants are fighting back hard. In a small victory for L'Oreal, its French parent company was dismissed from the MDL in May 2025, but its U.S. subsidiaries, the ones who actually sell the products here, remain firmly on the hook. Revlon is navigating these lawsuits while in bankruptcy. but it reportedly has insurance to cover potential claims. This legal battle is a high-stakes chess match with billions of dollars and corporate reputations on the line. But for the thousands of women watching, it's about something far more valuable: justice. In any fair discussion, we have to look at both sides of the aisle. So what are the cosmetic companies saying in their defense? Unsurprisingly, they vehemently deny the allegations. In public statements and court filings, companies like L'Oreal have stated that they are confident in the safety of our products and believe the recent lawsuits have no legal merit. Their core argument is that correlation does not equal causation. They contend that while some studies may show a statistical link, it does not definitively prove that their products caused any individual's cancer. It's a classic legal defense, designed to create doubt and place the burden of proof squarely on the plaintiffs. The defense attorneys will likely point to other potential risk factors for these cancers, such as genetics, diet, lifestyle, and other environmental exposures. They will argue that it is scientifically impossible to pinpoint a single cause for a complex disease like cancer. You can almost hear the courtroom argument now. How can you be sure it was our product and not one of 100 other factors in this woman's life? They will also highlight their compliance with existing federal regulations, arguing that they have followed all the rules set forth by the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. The problem, of course, is that the FDA's oversight of cosmetics is notoriously weak, a point the plaintiff's lawyers will surely hammer home. Another line of defense revolves around the specific chemicals involved. The companies may argue that the levels of EDCs in their products are too low to cause any biological effect. They might present their own internal safety data and sponsored studies, research that will be heavily scrutinized by the plaintiff's experts for bias. It's a battle of the experts, where each side will present a mountain of scientific data to support its claims. The job of the judge and jury will be to sift through this conflicting information and decide which narrative is more credible. It's a bit like a scientific heavyweight boxing match, where the winner is decided on points, not necessarily a knockout. Ultimately, the corporate defense strategy is a multi-pronged attack on the plaintiff's case. They will challenge the science, question the link between the product and the disease, and emphasize their history of regulatory compliance. They will portray themselves as responsible corporate citizens who have provided safe, beloved products to millions of satisfied customers for decades. This is not just a legal fight, it is a public relations war. They are fighting to protect their brand, their reputation, and their bottom line in the face of a crisis that threatens the very foundation of their business. So where do we go from here? We can't just admire the problem, we have to talk about solutions. The path forward requires action on 3 fronts, from individuals, from regulators, and from the companies themselves. For us, the consumers, the first step is knowledge. Read the labels, but more importantly, understand what's not on the labels. Opt for brands that are transparent about their ingredients and are certified free of phthalates, parabens, and formaldehyde. The growing natural hair movement offers a world of safer alternatives, from beautiful braids and twists to heat styling with protective products. This isn't about banning straight hair, it's about finding safer ways to achieve the styles we love. Regulators have a massive role to play. The FDA's proposal in October 2023 to ban formaldehyde in hair straighteners was a good first step, but it's like plugging one hole in a leaky dam. We need comprehensive reform of cosmetic safety laws. We need to close the fragrance loophole and require full disclosure of all chemicals. We need to give the FDA more power to review products before they hit the shelves and to recall dangerous products quickly. Advocacy groups are pushing for legislation like the Safer Beauty Bill package, and supporting these initiatives with our voices and our votes is crucial to creating lasting change for everyone. And what about the companies? Their path is clear: prioritize people over profits. The first step is to voluntarily remove all known EDCs and carcinogens from their products immediately. Don't wait for a ban. Do the right thing now. Second, they must be radically transparent with their ingredients. If you have nothing to hide, then hide nothing. Third, they should invest in research and development to create new, innovative, and genuinely safe straightening technologies. Imagine a future where you can get the look you want without gambling with your health. The first company to truly achieve that will not only win in the marketplace, but will also earn back the trust they have lost. This blueprint for a safer future is not a fantasy. It is an achievable goal if we all work together. It requires us to be more conscious consumers, more engaged citizens, and more responsible corporations. The pain and suffering of thousands of women must serve as a catalyst for a fundamental shift in the beauty industry. We can move from a place of harm to one of harmony, where beauty and wellness are not mutually exclusive. The health of millions of women depends on it. We have covered a lot of ground already. We've looked at the culture, the science, the lawsuits, and the stories of real women whose lives have been forever changed. The link between chemical hair relaxers and devastating cancers is no longer a fringe theory. It is a scientifically supported reality that is being fought over in our nation's highest courts. The days of blissful ignorance are over. We now know that the pursuit of a certain beauty standard may have carried a hidden toxic cost, a cost disproportionately paid by Black women. It's a heavy truth, but one we must face head-on. The question now is, what will you do with this information? This is not about judgment. It's not about telling anyone how they should or shouldn't wear their hair. Your hair is your crown, and you have the right to wear it however you choose. But that choice must be an informed one. It must be made with a full and honest understanding of the potential risks involved. Your health is your most precious asset, and you are its most important advocate. You have the power to ask questions, to demand better, and to choose products that honor your well-being. This is a defining moment. This is our chance to rewrite the rules of the beauty industry. We can demand transparency, we can push for stronger regulations, and we can support companies that put safety first. Don't let this be just another story you hear and forget. Talk about it with your mother, your sister, your friends, and your stylist. Share the information. The more people who know the truth, the faster we can drive change. Your voice, when joined with millions of others, is a force that cannot be ignored. Here is your call to action. Do not let this conversation end here. Educate yourself and those you love. If you or someone you know has used these products for years and has been diagnosed with uterine or ovarian cancer, contact a legal expert to understand your rights. Support organizations fighting for safer cosmetics. Demand that our lawmakers and the FDA take decisive action to protect consumers. Your voice matters. Your health matters. Make them both count. For more videos like this from Health Explorer channel, kindly like, subscribe, comment on, and share this video. See you on the next one. Cheers.